You just said that the flu shot is expected to be 10% effective this year. Can anybody explain why that's such a low number?
No, every year it's a gamble. Last year it was 39% effective, and so it's never foolproof, but it can still lessen the symptoms.
Yeah, but 10% is pretty low.
Even if you get it. Yeah, it is very low.
So 10% sounds low, but no vaccine, at least with the flu, is 100% effective even in years past.
That's right. Sometimes it's, bumped up over 30%. But the thing to keep in mind is it's a guessing game, too, because these strains of the flu can sometimes act differently than is anticipated. So the best bet, according to doctors, is to still get that vaccination.
But it's still a tough sell when you're 10% effective and you're saying it's not very effective, go get it anyway.
What concerns experts is the flu season that just concluded in Australia, which sometimes can preview the season here. Australia had its most severe flu season in 5 years, and the vaccine used there is the same one used here. It's believed that one of the strains covered, called H3N2, mutated, making the vaccine only 10% effective.
If you look at the CDC data, we don't have evidence that the virus has changed significantly. So hopefully we're not going to face the same situation.
Influenza vaccine takes months to make, and scientists are looking at new ways of making it. So when the virus mutates, they can quickly make a new vaccine.
In our morning rounds, new concerns about the flu season. U.S. health officials say there are signs that this may be a rough winter. Confirmed flu cases at just over 7,000 are more than double what they were this time last year. The virus is now widespread in 4 states. The dominant strain is H3N2, which may cause more severe illness. Even more troubling, this year's flu shot is the same one used in Australia's recent flu season when it was only 10% effective. Australia typically sets a pattern for what we will face here. Dr. Pardis Subeti is a professor at Harvard and an infectious disease expert who heads up her own research lab. Good morning.
Morning.
So past flu vaccines range anywhere from 10 to 60% effectiveness. What do we know about this year?
That's true. And on average, about 40% effectiveness for the flu vaccine. You had mentioned essentially that in Australia, they did have a poor season with only 10%. They had a very bad flu season, about 5 times as many cases in the previous year. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that the vaccine was only 10% effective. So it's even low for the flu. And with that, there's a lot of people that are susceptible. And because the formulation, the vaccine that they used in Australia is the same one we're going to use this year, we expect to see something similar.
So what is the challenge? Why can't we get a more effective flu vaccine?
So the way that vaccines work is that they basically they're an inactivated or disabled version of a virus that we present to our immune system, and our immune system gets to see it, to recognize it, to learn it, so that if we ever get a natural virus infection, we're ready to respond. The problem with flu and the virus that causes flu influenza is that it changes. It's very diverse, lots of different strains, and it's changing all the time. And so by the time we pick a version of the virus to make into a vaccine and put it into production, it might take 6 to 8 months. And in that time, the virus might change. And so that's an issue. And then also just in the production itself, we have to grow it up, and we normally grow it up in bird eggs. And in that time, it also can mutate in production itself. So it sort of diverges in 2 directions.
So I can ask this because my son is not watching and he's at school.
Okay.
Every year he cringes when we have to go get that flu shot. I tell him it's mandatory. We all go in there, my husband, myself, my son. Is it worth getting a flu shot every year if they're not this effective?
It's still worth getting a flu shot. I mean, so I believe so. Personally, always get a flu shot. Even 10% effective is better than anything. And if we all get, and a lot of it has to do with herd immunity. The more people are protected from it, the more other people will also be protected. And so, in fact, in a year where it's low effectiveness, it's even more important that everybody gets it affected so that we can get as much resistant and we don't allow the virus to thrive and grow and keep changing.
So even though the virus is dead when you get the shot, are you more susceptible to getting colds and the flu in general?
When you
get a shot?
When you get a shot, no. I mean, I think that ultimately the shot is actually giving your immune system a little test run, a practice run. So it should be protective across the board. And it's not only protective from getting the flu, but also the severity of the flu if you get it. So there's multiple reasons to get it no matter what.
Next year is the 100th anniversary of the flu pandemic that killed at least 50 million people worldwide.
I know you're concerned about a pandemic.
Yeah, no, I'm always concerned. That's what keeps me up at night. I worked a lot on Ebola and other viruses like Lassa, and flu is at the top of the list of things we should be worried about because it's so transmissible, because it can move so quickly. It's caused 3 massive outbreaks in the 20th century, including the 1918. Caused 50 million deaths, a significant portion of the world's population. But the good news is that the same tools that we can use to stave off seasonal flu are the same tools that we would use to stave off a pandemic, as well as to flu or to any virus.
All right.
So there's a lot of fun technologies for that.
We'll have to leave it there. Thank you, though.
Okay.
Dr. Pardis Sabeti, very much.